Welcome into my UP Sports. I'm Jake Durant. A dream come true. That is how UIn native and former Northern Michigan football player Jake Witt described his time as a member of the Indianapolis Colts. He had the talent, hard work, and determination to make it to the NFL and the courage to walk away. I caught up with Jake today to reflect on his journey and to find out what's next. For Jake Witt, the past year and a half has been a whirlwind. Drafted in the 7th round of the 2023 NFL Draft by the Indianapolis Colts, the former Northern Michigan offensive lineman got to live out his dream of playing professional football at the highest level. That dream came with its fair share of ups and downs.
Went through OTAs, great guys down there, and a great offensive line, new offensive coaching staff. So it was fun to come in and kind of be part of their new system, me being new as well. So that was fun. And then obviously we came back for the summer. We were here for a month, went back down and got injured in training camp, in week 2 of training camp. Got a hip injury, had to get surgery for that.
Witt's rookie season with the Colts ended abruptly just 2 weeks into his first training camp with the team. He spent the entire 2023-24 season on the injured reserve list as he worked his way back to full health. Through his rehab, Witt continued to keep a positive mindset.
And that was a good year for me to kind of, learn the playbook. And at that time, if I was thrown in, I was definitely not ready to be playing NFL football. I was a guy that hadn't played much before, so I had to learn a lot, and that was a good year for me, kind of get my feet wet.
This past summer, Witt returned to Indianapolis with more confidence and more determined than ever to earn a roster spot.
And it was a good OTAs. I developed a lot as a player, and then that set me up for a good summer back here in the UP training for training camp. We went to training camp, and as usual, that's a grind. Training camp was a grind, but it was fun. I continued to develop and form relationships and bonds with all the players, the offensive linemen, coaches, stuff like that. Played in all 3 preseason games, played the most in the 2nd preseason game, which was a lot of fun. And it was pretty crazy, being down on that field and, competing against other NFL players. And
as the preseason wrapped up, Witt would receive news that he was a part of the team's final roster cuts. Despite not making the Colts' final game day roster, Witt had other opportunities to continue pursuing his NFL dream.
I was one of the guys they waived, and the decision for me, was whether I should pursue one of the practice squad opportunities that I had or, be done playing football, which is something that I'd bounced around in my head for a while.
After weighing his options, Witt would ultimately decide to step away from the game of football, citing his health as a big factor for moving on from pursuing his dream.
And obviously there's that hope and chance always that you develop and you're going to turn into an NFL roster player, which I was confident that eventually I could have turned into that guy. But for me, the risk and the path to get there, I think it would have extended me another 1 or 2 years. And just with the risks of head injuries, and especially at that level where guys are so big, so fast, and I always had planned in my mind that football was going to be a chapter in my life, but it was going to be one that wasn't too long.
In a personal post on his Facebook page, Witt would announce his decision to the people that mattered most.
I felt I didn't have to address necessarily the NFL fan base, the Indianapolis fans, right? I felt like I had to address the Upers and the people that had been by my side through the entire journey and kind of fill them in.
He admits he did feel like he was going to let a lot of his supporters down, but instead was flooded with support from people across the UP.
After making that post and realizing, that there's so much positivity coming out of the community and they support Upers, making the right decision for themselves, no matter what it is, right? And I think that really made me realize that the people that you really care to support you are going to be supportive of your decision regardless of whatever it is.
Witt says he hopes his journey will help inspire the next generation of UP athletes and give them the courage to step out of their comfort zone.
I went out, I did something new that was a lot bigger than what the previous, communities I'd come from. It's a lot bigger as far as an area, fan base, stuff like that. Went out and did that and realized, I could do that. And I think that grew a lot of confidence in me, both in the sport and just in general. And I think going down to Indianapolis was fun and exciting. I'm like, oh man, this is a nice big city. There's a lot to do. But after a while, I started to realize the UP is kind of a little bit more what I want to be doing, right? Like it's more my pace.
Turning the page, Witt says he's excited to chase another passion, one that could keep him closer to home. For now, he's back in the area enjoying the UP fall, grateful for his journey and looking forward to what's next.
My passion has always been in the outdoors industry, right? Whether that's working for the DNR or the Forest Service or similar, something I've always enjoyed. I worked for the DNR in the past in my summers, and it was a lot of fun. And that's something that I've always, thought would be for me after everything's said and done, which is something that I'm looking into right now. And I'm keeping all my options open, whether that leads me to the UP, to the Northern Lower Peninsula, someplace where there's a lot of lakes and a lot of forests and stuff to do, something that a Uper likes to do. So